Have you ever started a New Year's resolution before, generally a fitness one, and then failed within the first 6 weeks? It's generally not your fault, and don't blame yourself. It's not because you're lazy, it's because most of us rely on motivation. Motivation's a feeling, it comes and goes, and particularly when we're tired, it goes. So what we need instead of motivation is discipline. Discipline isn't getting an ice bath at 5 o'clock in the morning, but discipline is doing the things that you don't feel like doing. On that day when you don't really want to go to the gym, you've got to go to the gym. On that day when you really want to eat nothing but junk food, it's eating slightly less junk food and eating a little bit healthier. It's not an all or nothing approach, and I think that's one of the main traps that I see people falling into, which causes the failure of their New Year's resolution, is that all or nothing thinking. And it's not about that, it's just about progressing. If we progress a little bit each day, then we'll end up getting better than where we started from, and that's what it's about. It's not about perfection, it's about progression. So what we're going to talk about in today's video is New Year's resolutions. We'll talk about the difference between discipline and motivation. We'll talk about the minimum dose effect for our exercise to prevent burnout. We'll talk about sensible nutritional strategies that can keep us going all year long, and we'll talk about progressive overload in our training and exercise that will keep us gaining all the way through the year. So stick around, and hopefully I'll save you some money on personal trainer fees and nutrition stuff as well. So what is the resolution trap? Well, the resolution trap's why most people fail their New Year's resolutions. It's because of the fact that we rely on motivation rather than discipline. But the problem with that is motivation is a feeling which comes and goes, particularly when we're tired, it goes. So what we need to do is replace motivation with discipline. Discipline is not necessarily getting up at 5:30 in the morning to go running. Discipline is about doing the things that you don't want to do. On that day that you don't want to go to the gym, you get some movement and exercise in. On that day that you really just want to eat a bag of donuts, it's not giving in to the temptations. But it's not about perfection, it's about progression. That's a big thing of why New Year's resolutions fail, is the all or nothing thinking of the fact that I've eaten one donut, therefore I may as well pile in. And so let's stick to some long-term progression through discipline rather than motivation. So I've talked about New Year's resolutions, but what are your New Year's resolutions? Put them in the comments below. I'd be really interested to hear from you. Pillar 1 is minimum effective dose, and that's to do with our exercise and mobility. What you find is the reason why most people fail their New Year's fitness resolutions is the fact that they batter the gym 5 times a week, which then leads to burnout and injury. We're much better off doing 3 days a week, and whether that's cardio or resistance training is up to you. If you're going to do resistance training, what I would say is a full body workout is where we should be starting 3 times a week. Stick around because my next video is exactly that. It's your beginner's weights training guide for the new year. Pillar 2 is nutrition. What we're going to do is say add, not subtract. What you'll find is that a lot of people with their New Year's resolutions will just say, right, that's it, I'm going on a New Year's diet. I can't have anything that's not natural. I can't have anything that's super processed. I can't have anything that's not fallen dead from the fucking tree. It's bollocks if you ask me, because you won't stick to it. And again, any diet that you don't stick to is not worth it. So add, don't subtract. Don't take out any of the foods that you like. If you like a pizza and you like a burger, have a pizza and have a burger. But what I'm saying is reduce them. If you have a pizza once a week, say to yourself, I'll have a pizza every other week, and that's fine. At least what you're doing then is you're progressing. But if I ban you from having foods, what that actually does is it makes you crave them more. The other thing that we can do to reduce things like snacking is if we increase our protein intake with each meal, because what that means is that we'll be fuller for longer, because it takes the body longer to digest as opposed to starchy sugars. What we find is that those starchy sugars hit our bloodstream really quickly and we end up being hungry quicker, which is why after you've had a McDonald's an hour later you're really hungry. So if we have protein with each meal, what we'll find is that we'll feel fuller for longer, and then we're not going to be snacking. So rule number 2, add, don't subtract. The third and final pillar is progressive overload, and that's going to be the secret for success all the way through the year to keep us progressing. I'll give you some examples. If you're running, what you can do is you can add 8 to 10% on your distance each week, or you can keep the same distance and add some speed, or you can keep both of those static and add some hills. Don't increase more than one paradigm at a time, because that's going to be a recipe for burnout. If you're doing resistance training, it could be putting a little bit more weight on the bar, or it could be keeping the same weight but doing more repetitions. The reason why progressive overload is going to keep us going all year long is because it gives us really good results, and when you can see them in the mirror, it spurs you on to keep going. There we have it, people. There is the 2026 HPO plan. 3 pillars. First pillar, minimum effective dose. That's our exercise. Work smart, work intelligently, and keep at it. Work small 3 times a week and build up from there. Don't burn yourselves out with 5 days a week. Pillar number 2, add, don't subtract. Don't deny yourself the foods that you really like, because then you won't stick to your diet. It's about making sensible improvements, reducing the amount of junk that you eat, reducing the processed foods that you eat, and eating a bit more protein in your diet so you'll feel fuller for longer and you'll stop things like snacking. Finally, pillar number 3 is our progressive overload, which will keep us going in the gym for all the year round. Let me know in your comments below how you get on. Like, subscribe, but most importantly, tell your friends.